cell phone. She called her friend down in Louisiana who's getting an operation today, and they talked for a while.
So she's back aboard herself?
Yeah.
Anything you can do for her?
What she needs right now is for the physical therapy people to help her standing and walking.
Shipping out from rehab. When she goes to Northeastern Field. That's what that is too. I don't think it's easy to do.
Although, what seems to be good on is doing services. A month ago, I asked emailed it. Look. Are we having sleep week of summer? And wrote back and said it's the summer. He sent me an additional email asking me if I didn't think it's the summer. So that's from a month ago, so.
I could hear, once I took you on unmute, I could hear you. When I put you on mute, I can hear you, but if I'm unmuted, I can't. So I'm going to put you on mute so I can hear.
Whatever you
No, all right. Now I can hear you a little better. What'd you just say? Maybe I should.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. We're joined by Eileen Delrossi, member of the Lowell School Committee. We're looking for Fru Nkimbeng to zoom in, and maybe Mike Smith from Florida. So, Eileen, how are you doing today?
All right, well, we'll just continue.
Yep, all right. So it's going to 69 today. It's a little chilly right now. In the year 455, the Vandals entered Rome and plundered the city for 2 weeks, from which we get the term vandalism. That in 1692, Bridget Bishop is the first person to be tried for witchcraft in Salem, Mass. She was found guilty the same day and hanged on June 10th. Yeah, that was a bad time.
Can you give me how you connected vandalism to the Romans again?
In 455, the Vandals,
The Vandals,
yeah,
were they Romans?
no, they were some Germanic tribe.
Wow. And that's where vandalism came from.
Yeah,
Vandals. Were they related to the Vanderbilts, the rich people? Probably not.
no.
Okay. I got it. Thank you.
In 1774, one of the intolerable acts, the Quartering Act of 1774, was enacted by Parliament, allowing the governor in colonial America to house British soldiers in uninhabited houses, outhouses, barns, and other buildings if suitable quarters were not provided. Yeah. On a happier note, in 1896, Mr. Marconi applied for a patent for his wireless telegraph, the radio. In 1919, anarchists simultaneously set off bombs on 8 separate U.S. citizens. Well, Eileen, how are you?
I just wasn't here. I wasn't getting anything, so I figured I'd just call in.
And now you're on the mic. That's good. And this, I think, is especially interesting in the light of birthright citizenship. 1924, U.S. President Calvin Coolidge signed the Indian Citizenship Act into law, granting citizenship to all Native Americans born within the territorial limits of the United States. In 1964, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, the PLO, was formed. In 1997, in Denver, Timothy McVeigh was convicted on 15 counts of murder and conspiracy for his role in the 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrow Federal Building in Oklahoma City, in which 100...
Wow, that was...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, that was 30 years ago now.
Yep.
That was like the start of like the Oklahoma bombing and then Columbine and then 9/11, I feel like. I'm sorry, go ahead, Cliff.
No, finish. You feel like what?
No, I just feel like that was the beginning of like what really started the whole mass destruction of this country. How many people were killed in that?
168.
Wow.
Can you bring your mic down? I'm hearing her better than you.
168 people died. The thing is, Timothy McVeigh did it because he was upset about the Waco thing. Remember Waco?
Yep. Go to old Waco. With the FBI.
Was that the cult? No.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the assault on the building there.
Religious group that tangled with the government wins. And the government wrote the history. Correct, Cliff?
No, Timothy McVeigh wrote the history. But yeah.
Never mind, I shouldn't have said anything.
Okay, in 1731, Martha Washington, First Lady of the United States, was born. She died in 1802. So she had a pretty good life. In 1740, the Marquis de Sade was listed in Wikipedia as a French philosopher and politician, was born. You know the Marquis de Sade, John?
Right now, I'm concentrating on Facebook. I'm not paying attention to you at all.
Oh.
Sorry.
Eileen, do you know who the Marquis de Sade is?
No. Is she related to the French president's wife, Marquis? Isn't that something in her name?
I don't know if there is something like that in Brigitte's name.
Okay.
The
Hey,
Marquis
did
de...
you know they got a new president in Poland today?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, they did. And the U.S., no, not the U.S., the U.K. is building 12 attack submarines.
Good.
Big news today in Europe.
Have you heard of sadism?
Sadism or saintism?
Sadism. Sadistic.
No.
Well, see, Cliff mispronounces sadism as sadism to throw you off course, and it's the worship of Satan, I think you're talking about, Cliff, not Saturn. The
No,
worship of Saturn.
It's the connection
I think
of,
I got him there. I think I got him, Eileen.
the connection of physical pain and sexual arousal.
Spell the word then.
Sadism.
Never heard of it.
Sadism.
You've never heard of it? Eileen, have you ever heard of it?
Was that something in the Air Force, Cliff?
No, not particularly.
It's a connection between, like, say that again, sadistic?
Yeah. It's like some guy going and paying some woman to beat him on the back with a cane rod.
Like 50 Shades of Grey.
Like 50 Shades, exactly. It is 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay, all right, we have a common ground now. Okay.
All right. It all goes back to the Marquis de Sade. All right. In 1904, Johnny Weissmuller was born. Swimmer and actor. He passed away in 1984.
Famous for being Tarzan
Tarzan. Yeah.
in the 50s and 60s. That's way before Eileen's time.
Martha. My father told me that he was a swimming pool lifeguard when my father was young.
Speaking of Martha, I was going to ask you after 7, but since you brought her up, how is Martha?
Martha is improving. She's getting movement back on her left arm, and she's now on her cell phone and talking. But
So she's
she's
blinking.
Very nice.
the hospital room is either too warm or too cold. So
Well, that was probably before she went to the hospital.
yeah.
I know that.
Yesterday was your anniversary. Did you bring her flowers?
Yes, plastic flowers.
Good. All right.
And in 1941, Lou Gehrig passed away. And I sent John a video clip of Lou Gehrig.
Oh, okay.
And while he's looking for that, today is Decoration Day in Canada. That's their Memorial Day. It came about because of the Canadian soldiers who had died fighting the Fenians. And today is also, speaking of sadism, International Sex Workers Day. So,
Oh, wow. It's a busy day.
yeah.
So, Cliff, the video's unavailable today.
Well, that's too bad. Lou Gehrig, in I think 39, after he had retired from baseball because he had ALS, which became Lou Gehrig's disease here in the United States. The Yankees had a festive day for him, and he talked and he said that Here's a guy who's going to be dead in 2 years. Says, I'm the luckiest man in the world to have all these friends.
Comment from Jay, the texts are not coming through on the big computer yet, but it's Monday, so the big computer still thinks it works for the government. Thinks it works for the city of Lowell. It'll open later on today. Good morning, great news, Mr. Krieger. Thanks for the update on Mrs. Krieger. I hope she gets better. Jay.
Thanks, Jay.
And another one just came in. I hope Cliff cheers up. He keeps talking about sadism.
Good.
Maybe it's a new interest of
I
his.
like that. Oh, well, to cheer me up, tell me about what's up with Karen Reed.
So the Commonwealth rested their case on Thursday. I think we talked about this Friday, and the defense they started to put on their case in chief on Friday, and they had their first expert in, which he was very effective, I think, in like just saying the only reason that I came into this in the first place was to say what the Commonwealth did in your data analysis was wrong, and help with that. And the Commonwealth was trying to make it seem like they brought in the best experts, but the truth is that one of the experts was not even a college graduate with a bachelor's degree. He had an associate's, but not a bachelor's or a master's. And this guy for the defense, had a master's in engineering.
Eileen, are you talking about is this the cell phone guy you're talking about, the cell phone guy?
No. So, well, it could be confused into that because yes, the Commonwealth experts tried to analyze the cell phone data with the infotainment data on Karen Reed's Lexus between John O'Keefe, Karen Reed, and the infotainment center on the Lexus. And what the defense is saying is that if you're looking for a triggering event that is only coming from the infotainment center of the Bosch, like the black box on the car, right? And I could even be confusing this, but what the Commonwealth tried to do was try to confuse it and putting too many variables in with with adding in the phone times from the cell phones to seem like there was a triggering event at a certain time. And I think the defense expert on Friday did a very good job of saying that you really can't compare the two. If you're looking for a trigger event, then you really should have got two Lexuses to test, which the Commonwealth only got one Lexus and put a bunch of blue paint on. So, yeah,
My angle on the Commonwealth is the Commonwealth wants to make her guilty. So they're only going to show stuff that makes her look guilty. So they hide their own gun, who's going to shoot in a direction that he's told. Because as soon as you hire a lawyer, a house painter, the first thing they ask is, "What do you want me to do?" Well, find this person guilty. That's what the government's trying to do. Back to you.
And it turns out that Aperture Company has been involved with Norfolk since Michael Morrissey, the DA in 2013, had a car accident, and they questioned his cell phone. So Aperture has been involved with the Norfolk County DA since 2013, and they have many connections there. And from 2013 on, they've paid them to do different things with phones and not always reported it appropriately in their paperwork. And for this situation, they paid about $400,000 to the company. And then the company then was part of a sponsor at the Mass Legal Bar Association, where Judge Beverly Cannoni, the corrupt judge, got Person of the Year award. and that aperture company that they found in Texas is the one that sponsored it.
Hey, Fru's here if you want to say good morning.
Hi, Fru.
Good morning, Fru.
How's it going?
I'm not seeing you.
Oh,
Well,
that's,
that's okay. You're not going to see Cliff. You're only going to see the monitor. So that's
all
we're
right.
good. Please proceed, Cliff.
Okay, so we're wrapping up on the Karen Reed case, Fru. Any,
Should be interesting the rest of the week. I hear a lot of bombshells could be dropped that the defense knows.
well, that'll be good. Interesting. The, do you got any quick thought on that, Fru, before we move on to the big, beautiful bill?
Nothing, Cliff. I'm sorry. I'm ignorant about that. Not that it's not important, but I have not been following up.
Well, I have to admit that Eileen is well ahead of me in following up on the story.
John,
Good morning, Fru.
Yeah, we don't want to risk it.
I cannot hear you. I can see your lips. If someone wants, can you put the link on the screen for people, for viewers, if they want to watch?
Well, see, what's happening right now is,
No, I cannot hear.
well, it is what it
Can you
is.
roll
I
it up?
cannot hear,
It
John.
is what it is. We're going to move on. Thank you. Back to Cliff.
Okay, so I saw there's a headline in the Boston Globe today, "Can Trump fix the national debt?" Republican senators, many investors, and even Musk have doubts. So, and it's a Associated Press article, but this national debt thing has been building for quite a while. We're up at $36.94 trillion dollar national debt. So apparently no one else has been able to fix it, so the question is, can Trump? And Trump's got this, what he calls his big beautiful bill, of course it is, which passed the House by one vote, and it's in the Senate, and there's questions to whether or not it'll pass, because Rand Paul, Rick Scott, the two Lees, Ron Johnson, that's 5 senators who think it doesn't go far enough, because the deficit right now, the budget deficit is $2 trillion, and the national debt is almost $37 trillion. So I don't know, unless some Democrats are going to vote to support Trump, it looks like it's all going to die.
I stopped worrying about the deficit, Cliff, when we got, that's likely Fru calling you. I asked Fru to call you if he has audio problems.
He just did. Hi, Fru.
And merge the calls, and then he's got to mute everything on his end.
Well, now Eileen's calling. Yes, Eileen, I hit the wrong button. I apologize.
Hung up on me. You hung
Yeah.
up on me.
So we are going back to you, Cliff.
Yeah. Don't take it personal that I hung up on you. It's just too early for me to hit the right button. So, I think we talked about it last week, major credit rating firms downgraded U.S. It lost its AAA credit rating Friday evening a week ago with Moody's, and other people have been downgrading us. So, I mean, what are we going to do? Is there a Democratic bill to fix this problem? Anybody got a solution to fix this problem?
What's the problem, Cliff?
The debt.
Don't worry about it. We have faith in paper.
I see. And what do we do when the economy collapses?
It's not going to collapse.
You mean unlike in other countries?
It's not going to collapse, Cliff. People have faith in the U.S. dollar like none other on the planet Earth. Period. Return. New paragraph. What do you think the debt in London, in England is? A lot. What do you think the debt in Germany is? A lot. The only place that doesn't have any debt is probably Saudi Arabia and China. I think China has debt. So.
But you've got the BRICS working to form their own currency, and when the U.S. dollar is no longer the world reserve currency, we're going to be in trouble.
Cliff, you got a beach chair on the sand, looking at the ocean, and you're reading the book Gloom and Doom. Put the book of Gloom and Doom down and enjoy the seashore.
Fru, is John right or am I right? Uh-oh. What are we doing? Okay, say it again, Fru.
I didn't get what I can hear you clearly now. I did not get what you said.
So I say that the national debt is something to be worried about, especially because the BRICS are looking to form their own reserve currency for international trading, and when the U.S. dollar is no longer the international reserve currency, we could be in trouble. And John says not to sweat it. It's all going to work out fine.
Well, I beg to disagree because we are living in an illusion. You can only cut your debt if you minimize your expenses. And we spend billions, trillions supporting wars across that do not benefit us in any way. Instead of focusing, while our enemies are focusing on production of goods and services and building industries that will translate into a thriving economy. And they are now coming at us because instead of waging a war of production, we are waging war of destruction. And we use the dollar as a tool of bullying other nations into submission to our own dictates and by setting sanctions. Cliff, you can fool someone, some of the time. You can fool all the people some of the time, but you can never fool all the people all the times.
Okay.
What did Fru just say?
He quoted Abraham Lincoln.
I know that. Remain seated and thought to fool, all the other good stuff he said, yeah. So what? What did he just say? With respect that I just said there's no worries about the debt.
And he said there are worries about the debt, and that eventually we're going to run out of the ability to pay the interest on the debt.
Okay. Comments from the audience. A dead man, a corrupt judge, a disgusting media, crooked cops. That's the Karen Reed trial in a nutshell. Interesting point from Jay.
Yes, agreed, unfortunately.
We've been downgrading, but yet everyone is still wants to come here. Interesting point. The country has and will be in debt. We still have a spending problem in this country. Yes, we do. Back over to you, Cliff. Thank you for your comments.
Well, Cliff, on that note, if you may permit me to add something.
Go ahead.
Well, I will. You are already aware of this quote made by the U.S. president many decades ago, that the only kind of war we seek is the good old fight against man's ancient enemies. Poverty, disease, hunger, and literacy. Is that the kind of war that we are facing, that we are waging now? And who is the president who said that?
Tell us, Fru, who's the president?
It's Harry Truman in 1951.
Yeah.
How come we are not waging the war of poverty, war of disease,
Truman
war
was
of
40,
war of
60.
hunger, and the war against illiteracy at home?
Yeah, Truman, 1951.
51.
Yeah.
Understood better. I thought he said 61.
No.
When was Eisenhower?
Sworn in 1953.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing a good job fighting the war on poverty, the war on literacy, the situation. We've gotten involved in a couple of struggles that just went on too long, and some that we never should have gotten into, like the war in Libya. Eileen, you got any thoughts on literacy, for instance? Did I lose Eileen? No, she's lost her. Yeah,
No, I'm here. I'm sorry. I just lost my phone for a second.
Oh.
I found it. But, yeah, I mean, only time will tell with literacy. I think we're graduating an awful lot more of kids that can't read. And no one's making a big deal about it because they don't want to. Or it wouldn't make them look good.
Just a doggone minute, Madam School Committee woman. Nobody in the system stays back. Nobody
Right.
stays back. You go to the cash register at Market Basket and Hannaford. No, I'm sorry, we're shopping at Hannaford this week. So you go to the, and you know what? You didn't scan a few items. They don't let you walk out of the store with that. Hey, you didn't scan those that can of tomatoes. Go back and scan that. But if you go to school in the United States, you don't stay back. I'm sorry, teach. I didn't get that in math. Yeah, I know, honey. Bye-bye. You're going to the next grade. Until the school department, Lowell's, Tewksbury's, I don't care what school department you're talking about, until they start to have kids stay back that didn't get math, that didn't get reading, this is going to continue. I'll listen to your thoughts, Eileen, because you're the elected official.
I'm going to intervene. You said in the United States.
Okay,
but
Mr. Correction. I think you know what I meant, Mr. Correction.
Yeah, but I'm going to reinforce your point.
You can go right ahead, but I don't think it's necessary. Please continue.
You mumbled there somewhere. I missed part of that. Commander Salamander had a post out on his blog late last week in which he was extolling his home state, Mississippi. And he pointed out that the GDP in Mississippi is better than it is in the UK. But also, from being an abysmal state for education, they have jumped up in reading to being one of the top states. And apparently one of the ways they did it was they said, you cannot advance past 4th grade until you can read to 4th grade level.
That's a good rule, and I hope we adopt that nationwide. A comment from the audience. Unfortunately, Fru, the government does not care about solving problems. They only create problems.
I do this for 4 minutes, it will make it
Okay. So,
Well, Cliff.
go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say that, I mean, as we are talking about the economy and not also investing in the human capital and also talking about immigration, and which is a hot thing now, and most of the like the farm workers also, they do it under the backs of immigrants. And we are bashing also these other great nations, China, Russia, and India, and Japan. We know that our economy runs on their loans. And if these countries stand and say, pay back my loan, what are we going to do?
Well, I don't know. That's where I think we need to take some action. Someone pointed out that President Trump, maybe by accident, is helping to pay the interest on the loans on that $36 trillion debt because he's riled the stock market, and a lot of money has flowed from the stock market over to federal bonds, and that's helping do the interest issue by lowering the cost of federal bonds.
But when you talk of the stock market per ratio, population-wise, the stock market enriches the richer and makes them become richer and richer. And then the poor become poorer and poorer.
Well, that brings up... Go ahead.
No, I'm saying that, yeah, because the poor people don't even have money to eat, let alone say that they will have money to invest. So when you do that, and also cut taxes on those who are already super rich, and you think that you are helping the nation, that is just a deceitful way, which you would, and if anyone criticizes that, we bring this label that they are socialists, they are communists. And when you hear those words, be very, very careful, because those words are anti the super rich, and they will use the media to label anyone who is advocating for the poor and for domestic development and advancement, because they have all their savings offshore and to avoid taxes.
Hey, Cliff, can you help me with this exercise? Now, you can see the calculator.
Yes.
What is the total debt right now?
It's like 36.94 trillion.
36, how many zeros? 369? Oh, so I'll make it 37, okay? Just for giggles, okay? 37, how many zeros?
Well, there's billions. Billions. I'd say 12.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Divided by how many million people in the U.S.? 300 million?
About 360.
360. How many zeros?
6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So before we go home today, we should all write the government a check for $102,000. So, you know,
Individually.
before you go to supper, Fru, write a check to Uncle Sam for 102. You better make it 100.
Okay, John, can you cover mine?
Eileen, same thing. Eileen, same thing. Make a check to the government for $103,000. That's what the deficit. So that's why I laugh at it. It has to do with paper. This is all ridiculous. Everybody, every Tom, Dick, and Mary's got to write a check before supper time for $103,000.
Actually,
Well, John, for the rich, that money is peanuts. But for you and I, and we are supporting and defending the rich when they come down and say taxes and say, let's go to war. And while we are walking down the streets, the roads are bad, schools are dilapidating, there's homelessness.
Well, Fru, let me ask you, look, we all know if for some reason we all won the lottery today, and all of a sudden we had $100 million in our bank account, and we all wrote a check to the government for that sum I just talked about, the government would just say, thank you very much, and go borrow more money, wouldn't they?
That, the debt, per taxpayer is $323,000. If you take out all the little kiddies and all that.
No, it's 102, it's 103 grand. The little kids,
Per person.
they gotta write a check. Luke's gonna write a check for 103 grand.
The
Every
US,
Tom, Dick, and Mary.
the US debt clock, and
I wouldn't.
everybody out there should put in the back of their mind, if you type in US debt clock and hit return, it brings up all these figures, and it says the debt
It's
per
a very
taxpayer.
I'll do that. USB.
It would be interesting if they, like I have FICO, and they do a score simulator, if they could take the national debt total and put it in a FICO score simulator, and it would tell them what they could do better to bring up their bond rating.
Now, Cliff will tell you how simple this is to read, but I'm sorry, this is Cliff's mentality. Cliff's the smartest guy I ever met is Cliff Krieger. And only he can comprehend what's going on here, and nobody else that I know of. The Doge clock, the savings per taxpayer, blah, 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 blah. We all owe a lot of money, and the government doesn't care. They're going to go borrow more.
Some people in the government care.
Well, the banks are loving all the interest money they're collecting on this. The U.S. banks would go out of business if the U.S. debt, wouldn't they?
I don't think so. Banks existed when we didn't have a big U.S. debt.
Banks prosper with the U.S. debt.
Okay.
That's just my take on it. And I got 2 texts to come up. When they're up there, I'll put them up there. Oh, the debt clock never came up? I'm sorry. I thought it was up there all this time.
Yeah. In the upper left-hand corner is the debt. You can see it rolled in along.
Right here?
Yep. Next to it is the debt per person. Our calculation was pretty close. They say it's 107,000. And then right next to it is the debt per taxpayer, which always makes me think about our senior senator, Elizabeth Warren.
So, Cliff, by supper time, you're going to write him a check for 303 grand. Does that take care of Martha too, or is Martha owe the 303 grand too?
Well, we're a taxpayer unit, so that'll take care of it, yeah.
Which one? You paying twice or once?
Once.
Okay. So, Fru, you can pay your whole family off, or you just write a check before supper for 323 grand. Make it out to Uncle Sam. Thank you.
So, our senior senator keeps saying that she wants the rich to pay their fair share. I think she had you in mind, John. Are you paying your fair share? Go ahead, read those 2.
All right. If the city cared about fixing problems, they would have addressed the shelter decades ago. Second one, it's very simple. Congress has raided the cookie jar, and that's left is crumbs for the peasants. I want Trump, thank you for your comments, and if you want to, you can text my cell phone. That's on the screen there. Where is that guy? Yeah, just 978-808-8200. Just send you a text in there, and I'll be happy to put them up. But that's why I want Trump to go to Fort Knox. The gold's gone. That's
nice evasion, John.
That's not why he's going. He's not going to go there.
But So the top 1% are paying almost a quarter of the taxes paid to the federal government. The top 5% are paying about half the taxes paid to the government.
And the
I'm-
government is spending 100% of those taxes and borrowing 100% of those taxes.
Not quite 100%, but yes,
Okay,
borrowing
thank you, Mr.
a
Correction.
couple trillion.
But I think you know what I meant.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, did we have any thoughts, Fru, on, to wrap up Trump's trip to the Middle East? Did you have any lingering thoughts you wanted to give us?
Well, no, in the Middle East, not really. The only thing I like to throw on our panelists to get their own impression as to what happened at the White House during the visit of the President of South Africa, His Excellency Cyril Ramaphosa. Whether everyone was excited with what happened at the Oval Office, or just to go around and let people share their thoughts.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Eileen left. So what year did the debt begin? I'll go ask Google that one. Back to you.
That'd be good to ask Google. You still there, Fru?
Fru Nkimbeng.
All right. Darn. Had.
Okay, so we're gonna look up the,
Hang in, Fru. I'm having trouble.
hit this button. The wrong one opened up. All right, well, we're gonna put the camera back on this guy. This guy.
All right. Okay,
And we'll
hold
do
and
this.
accept.
Google
Merge.
Win.
I died.
All right. And Fru, you're there, right?
Yes, did you hear my question?
Yes.
I thought maybe my question got me offline.
No. But yeah, the question is, should Trump, in my mind, should Trump have confronted the president of South Africa over the issue of whether or not Caucasian farmers in South Africa were being evicted from their land?
Cliff, the debt started in 1775.
That's what I figured,
Well, why'd you have me look it up?
because I wasn't positive.
Oh, okay. That's AI.
Ask them, when was the U.S. debt free?
What was the debt free?
Yes. So, I mean, I don't know the truth
January of 1835.
Well, it looks like we are ready to tackle that question, or how?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. So, it's apparently upset some people that we've provided refuge to 30-some South Africans who claimed they were fleeing because they were being persecuted.
No, Cliff, but if you put your question in the right, you frame your question not the way I wanted. I'm saying that false information was presented in the Oval Office. I saw our president holding information that was manipulated and showing it on the screen, which that information was visibly and intentionally manipulated to suit that scenario. And that is what the media does. How can we bring our guest to embarrass him with wrong information? Is that really the more diplomacy?
I saw that happen on live TV. Amazing.
But that's what we are minimizing it and pushing it, and that is exactly what people do. Instead of facing something and saying so that we learn from it, we try to sugarcoat it and think that our audience are not seeing through what we are doing.
Yeah. It was not a good diplomatic move or a good diplomatic look. I agree with you. That I don't know that I have a solution. So quickly before we run out of time, in the Middle East in Gaza, apparently food and medicine is flowing under some new arrangement. The United Nations has been cut out, and a U.S. civilian security firm is providing protection, and the idea behind that is that the UN was corrupt, and B, Hamas was stealing food and medicine to use for their own purposes. So so we've got a guy over there, a diplomat, Steve Witkoff, who's trying to negotiate with Hamas. The U.S. Made a proposal. Hamas rejected it and counteroffered, and Steve Witkoff said it was totally unacceptable. How do you guys see it going in Palestine? I mean, this thing is reflecting. The speaker at MIT was supposed to speak Thursday and Friday. She spoke Thursday and was talking about genocide in Gaza, and the MIT people said she couldn't speak on Friday.
Well, it's all over the news. Genocide is happening in Palestine. The Israeli government continues to pound and kill probably 30 people a day. The Israeli government's killing.
So when is the Israeli government decide to go to genocide?
When you deliberately kill people just because they live in a certain spot, they're considering that genocide. I guess I should look up what is the definition of genocide to see if they should use a better word, that they're killing everybody in that neighborhood.
The population in Gaza was 245,000 in 1950, and now it's 2 million. So if the
But is that why, Cliff, I think your figures show that is that why they are based on trying to eliminate and reduce the population of people, or what are you insinuating by that?
What I'm insinuating by that is if the Israelis' goal is genocide, they don't have a clue what they're doing. They're doing it wrong. But I do think their goal is to eliminate Hamas. And in that, I think they're wrong.
Okay, but my question to you and our panelists, Cliff, is that if the whole world is looking at this and condemning it, life is life. You can never replace life, and all lives are equal in the eyes of God.
True.
And if we look at it as if some lives are not worth living, and if the whole world, that the population of the entire world combined together is about 8 billion, over 8 billion people. And if you take from that point, how many people do not approve this? And I mean, how many countries are in the world? About 96 countries in the world. Almost 94 countries, even our European allies are already distancing themselves from us. Does that give room for us to think twice and say, in fact, something should happen, or we should change our narrative?
Well, I agree, and I think that's what Trump's trying to do. But anyway,
A comment from the audience. The question should be, what did Andrew Jackson do to pay off the debt, the government debt? Interesting angle. Will you ask Fru, does he have anything on his mind he wants us to know before? Because he always scoots at 7.
oh, Fru, John wants to interrupt our discussion by asking, do you have anything else you want to bring up?
No, about what?
Anything? Is there any
What?
itch you have that you'd like to scratch here?
Oh, well, if you say anything, I would just want to bring our attention that the way the West covers news should change, because what is going on in Africa in particular, which you can never see it in the Western main media, actually shows the hypocrisy and has really opened the eyes of the international community that all Western coverage on Africa was ready to describe Africa as a backward place for them to keep on exploiting. There is a lot of change in Africa, and the population. Africa has a vibrant youth population, but the way the West characterizes, they characterize Africa as a place that is no good of anything and only good for them to extract raw materials and go there and test weapons and say there is war and the like, disease and germs. But the good news coming out of Africa is totally missing in the Western media. Is that intentional, or what is your comment, and how do you, as a media person, how can you, what do you say?
I think that you've got a good point, but I think the media is catering to its audience. What
And
it thinks,
and its advertisers.
what it thinks is its audience, because the advertisers want the audience to be as large as possible. And I think that there's a lot of ignorance in the United States about what goes on in the rest of the world. I don't know
So if
how
I
we
get
change
you,
that.
if I get you, sorry.
I don't know how
So-
we change that, but I
So
think
if I get you correctly, you are advising our audience and viewers to take what comes out of the news that we watch and see with a grain of salt.
yeah, and to broaden their sources of news to get different looks at things. I don't know if it'll continue, but I think the current administration saying that it's not the job of the United States to tell other countries how to run their lives, that's a good step forward. And I think getting the NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, which we fund with billions of dollars, getting them under control is good, because a lot of them are not really helping foreign countries. And as you point out, some of it is actually espionage against foreign countries. So those are two positive steps, I think.
And I totally agree with you, Cliff. They said necessity is the mother of invention. When you see, what some of this, what I've read and son and seen of live interview of Peace Corps and even these NGOs, some of them coming back very angry that they were used to go and extract information and bring that information, and that information turns out to be very, very a disaster and to these host countries in Africa who welcome them like brothers and sisters. But in return, whatever they did there, the public took advantage of them in terms of saying that these NGOs, they are going there they are the miracle, they are the guardian angel. But they have a sinister agenda that they go there. But the West, we buy all that information, and that's the reason why someone will challenge and speak down on Africans that they are not up to whatever their imagination says. Thank you.
Well, I think one of the things we have to keep in mind
Kill
is
us off now,
drift.
Cliff.
What?
You gotta kill us. This hour's gonna end, so.
Yeah.
No, I'm done. I'm finished.
So, drift. I think the Peace Corps, when it started, was a good idea. But then things drifted, and I think that maybe that was one of the good things about Doge, is exposing how some government organizations drifted from their original missions and became a little corrupted. Okay, John.
Comment from the audience, I don't think Africa is corrupt enough. That could be a reason the American mafia might not want to do business with them. Okay, the definition for genocide. Genocide is defined, according to AI on Google, is defined as the deliberate and systematic destruction of a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group with the intent to destroy that whole group in part.
In whole or in part, yeah.
Okay, why don't you read it?
I can't read it.
Well, yes, you are. So this intent is crucial element differentiating from the mass killings that may not have the same goal of destroying the group's existence. So based on what I just said, is what's happening in Gaza genocide? Yes.
No.
Okay. So on that little note, we're going to go off to break land. Fru, I'm going to give you the last word, then we're going to go to break. Thank you.
City Life Show is fair and balanced. Watch City Life Show.
Thanks to you, Fru. Have a good week.
You're welcome, Joe.
See you next time. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to put the music on.
Okay. Okay. We got nobody. Yeah. Oh, let's go back. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. We're live here in the Studio 26 in Lowell, Massachusetts. You can text in your comments, call in if you want to talk to us, give us your view on things. We've lost Eileen Delrossi,
We didn't.
for a couple of minutes. She's sorting some things out, getting her son off to school.
Eileen Delrossi.
He's back. Look at that. Eileen. Hello, Eileen?
Hello, Cliff.
You're back.
I'm back.
So, have you been following in the news this Jake Tapper book, Original Sin, about the Biden administration and the decision to run or not to run for president in 2024?
Oh, no, but I bet it's good. Just hearing everything that's coming out now.
Yeah, not a lot of fun. John, have you seen anything in the news about Jake Tapper's book?
No, but I got to tell you that today is David Prestipino. It's his birthday, and Bob Antonelli, it's his birthday. And those guys are both frequent flyers on my Facebook page, and causing many smiles on the internet. I don't know about the character you're talking about, Cliff, at all.
I wonder if John Curtis is watching us this morning. Maybe he has an opinion. But
He usually watches us and Drake it sometimes on YouTube. I'll check YouTube.
before Jake Tapper's book came
Was
out,
he on last Monday, John Curtis?
Next
The what?
Monday, yeah. Correctamundo.
Yeah.
so there were two books that came out earlier in the year. One was titled Fight and the other was titled Uncharted, that talked about the race in 2024. And we all know Joe Biden wanted to be the Democratic candidate, and then he did a early debate with Donald Trump, and it did not go well. And a couple weeks later, he bowed out, and his Vice President Kamala Harris picked up the nomination and ran against Trump. But I think that this book, Original Sin, goes into a lot more discussion of people wrestling with the issue.
What's your takeaway? Did you read the book, Cliff?
I'm halfway through.
What's your takeaway from it thus far?
Well, I find it upsetting
Okay.
because
Can
I
you
think,
expand on that?
yeah, I was about to.
Okay.
Because there were people who were aware that President Biden's capacities were diminishing, but no one seemed to be able to articulate that except for the congressman up in Michigan, Dean, who actually tried to run against Joe Biden in the primaries, and the Democratic Party thwarted him left and right. But Joe Biden was protected by a group of people that has been referred to by Jake Tapper, for instance, and I think it's a good expression, the Politburo. And he mentions Mike Donilon, Steve Ricchetti, and Bruce Reed as being part of this Politburo that made all the decisions and kept the government running along.
Now, Cliff, you've been around a little bit longer than me. When Ronald Reagan was shot, he was incapacitated. That was kept under wraps, so no one would know. No corrective, and everybody in America knew it. Everybody in Washington knew it. Everybody at the hospital knew it. The lies right to bold-faced live TV, lied to America. What corrective measures were taken after that?
None.
Okay. Do you think any corrective measures will be taken now?
Well, it was not quite as blatant as it was here. Remember, you had the Secretary of State made a public announcement that he was in charge,
Okay, well, let's just
which
go
upset a lot of
to
people.
page 2. Let's say, for instance, that President Biden said, you know, I'm having a bad week. I'm going to put Kamala in charge. Just going to take a week off, going to put Kamala in charge. I remember my friend Eileen Delrossi, when she was city manager, I would tell her, look, Eileen, you're working yourself to death. Why don't you put your assistants, just look at, tell the assistant city manager, look at, I'm taking the weekend off, take care of everything. I'll be back, I'm coming back to work on Monday, so just let it go. And she never did that, but I think presidents should get in the habit of doing that. So just in case they move off to heaven a little earlier than we thought they would, we have somebody who's competent with control. Why don't we ever have this exercise? Because they're all afraid of re-election. They're afraid of the media. They all have live television. They can get on ABC, LMNOP, whatever network they want to get onto tonight for an hour and say, you know what? This is how competent I am. lift weights, run around the room, ride a bicycle. They can do all that stuff on live TV tonight to prove to the public that they can serve. But I don't understand when they go out of the country. Look, I'm going to China for a few days. Kamala's going to be in charge until I get back. Bye. Why can't that happen?
It does happen.
No, it doesn't. When?
I think it happened once under Joe Biden. He had some medical procedure, and they turned the government over to Kamala Harris for 48 hours.
Why don't they do it when Trump goes to China? Why can't J.D. Vance be in charge while Trump's in China?
Because Trump takes the government with him. He's got,
There's no need for it, though.
yeah, but we spent a lot of money so he can do it.
Well, I couldn't care
You've
less.
got Air Force One and you've got the kneecap.
I couldn't care less. What's the kneecap?
National Emergency,
Is that the football?
no. The kneecap is a Boeing 747 that shadows the president all over the world.
Okay, so if war develops, he could instantly take control from Vance.
Yeah,
So give it to Vance. Why can't he do that?
he can.
Like in Lowell, when Danny Rourke takes off, hey, I'm going away for the weekend. Paul Rathayem's the vice mayor. Bingo, he takes over. Not hard. I think we should do that more often. That's just my take.
Okay.
Nobody's asking me.
So then, did you see where they released the Hur tapes? Special Counsel Robert Hur, his interview of President Biden back in October 2023.
No, but I wanted to just say one thing. One thing that I did say is the Senate hearings and Marco Rubio clapping back at the senator that went down to visit the migrants who had some serious charges on him that he wanted to keep, and he's like, well, you were there. We have tons of evidence that this guy did a lot of horrible things, and basically, and he said, well, you were down in maybe Virginia, or I forget where he was, that he went to go see him. Maybe it was Florida. And he's like, well, you were down having a margarita with him. And the senator actually said back, it was actually a mojito, not a margarita. That's crazy. But they're saying that nobody ever paid to those Senate hearings before because Joe Biden was asleep for them for the most part.
Yep.
I got two comments from the audience. I'm going to draw the other one over here now. And the first one says, I hit plus, okay. The funny thing about all the evil people who lied to the public about his condition, Obama in brackets, that's from Jay. Kneecap is, the second one just came in, kneecap is what the American mafia does to your wallet. Back over to you, Cliff, thanks.
That was funny. So, Eileen, did you hear the the Robert Hur audio?
No, I have not seen or heard of Robert Hur audio.
Apparently.
What is it?
Well, he was interviewing President Biden about classified documents that had been left in his garage next to his Corvette. And Robert Hur was asking him some questions, and President Biden drifted off the topic and started talking about Bo, his late son who passed away 10 years ago, today, last Friday. But it turned out he didn't have the right date for when Bo Biden died. So he just seemed very confused and not totally organized intellectually.
And when was those interviews done?
That was done in October 2023.
Right in the middle of his presidency.
Yeah. And Robert Hur decided, and he got a lot of flack for this, he said that he recommended no prosecution because President Biden appeared to be a doddering old man, and no jury would convict him. That true?
Well, in reality, he wanted to do what was best in his head, but it really, I feel like should be also the people around him that should be accountable.
I agree. So, John said that the 25th Amendment doesn't work, and he's correct. But I'm wondering, should the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, challenge some of the things signed by Joe Biden's auto pen? And I don't think that they can kill any laws that way. Maybe one or two. If the president doesn't sign a bill within 2 weeks, it becomes law unless Congress recesses. So there may be some bill that Congress passed and then went into recess, and Pam Bondi could take that to court and say that's an invalid law because it, what they call a pocket veto. The president, in essence, vetoed it because.
Well, yeah,
Go ahead.
I guess now with, you know what I mean? I don't even know how it would be according to the Constitution because there's so much technology and an auto pen was never even put in there, and so many different ways that things can happen now. You know, it's interesting to see how they'll catch up to today's times in the law.
Yeah. Well, it turns out some form of the auto pen has been around since Thomas Jefferson.
Oh.
Not as sophisticated as it is today, but still. In Thomas Jefferson's time, he could sign 2 documents at the same time with one swipe of the pen.
Oh, that's interesting.
Go ahead.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like it because when I have to, like, turn around documents quickly, I use that, and it's very pretty, and it's a nice signature.
Yeah.
But it's also scary in a lot of ways that not only I could use it, but anybody could type my name in and use it, right? And so how many bills could be out there that aren't truly even signed by him or signed by somebody who just had auto pen access?
Well, that in essence is the question. To what degree did Joe Biden understand what was being signed in his name?
And when he hits the witness stand, he'll say 100%. Comment from the audience, the media was complicit in the cover-up of President Biden's condition. They should never be trusted again. They should have been trusted when Reagan was incapacitated. Nothing's going to happen. Nothing. Back to you, Cliff. Don't waste any more mind time on it.
Okay, so I don't know if I mentioned this on Friday, but Howie Carr had a poll question that asked if Dr. Joe Biden should be indicted for elder abuse with regard to President Joe Biden.
Oh, that's good. That's do we know the age difference there between Jill and Joe?
I don't, but Joe's what, 81? Maybe John will check out Jill's age.
I can do that. Let me just put it up on the screen here.
All right.
You guys can sip your brews or whatever you're doing there, and we'll go to this.
You know what I also found was interested in learning about Howie Carr? That he really, like, when Whitey Bulger was around, he, like, stood up to him, and he was really protected. But, like, in some ways, so that he couldn't get taken down. And I noticed he wrote some books about his like treacherous path in Boston.
Joe Biden, 73.
Okay,
So
8 years younger.
Biden's 82.
Oh, is he 82
well, we
now?
can't.
Well, that's what AI tells me. He's 82. So I don't know. So there's 10 years difference.
Oh, okay.
Let me get.
Well, you can't get her on child trafficking
Yeah, well, I'm
because
moving.
there's not that much of an age difference.
No.
10 years difference. Well, Jill is 73, so 9 years difference. Jill's 73, and Joe is 82.
So, in Howie Carr's audience, when I caught the poll, the 83% said yes, Jill should be indicted.
Howie Carr.
Wow.
If Howie Carr gets to heaven, he will complain that these clouds should be whiter. That's what I think of Howie Carr. Doesn't have a good word to say for anybody. Sourdough old man who buys his time. He pays for his time on WRKL.
Okay.
So Gary Frascarelli tells me. He's my source.
So, Eileen, no school committee meeting this week?
No, because of Lowell High graduation, it is on Wednesday, I believe. And then the
Okay.
vote graduation is on Friday, the 6th.
How often do you people meet in summertime?
I think it goes to once a month in the summer instead of twice a month.
It's summertime now.
Yeah. So,
Well, so I know our next meeting is June 11th. So I don't know if it will go to that now. You know, like, will June 11th be our only meeting? I don't know.
You're the school committee woman. I don't. Good question. I can go ask. I
I
can go ask
gotta get
Google.
in. I gotta figure that out.
did you guys get into discussing A, bus contracts, and B, the fact that they're hiding the information now?
What information are they hiding?
Well, the agenda used to list how much was being paid for student transportation, like Pride Star student transportation, $792,000. And then the last agenda I saw, they did not have any of that data available to the public. It apparently was being hidden.
Well, I think, honestly, the last agenda was probably just a quick meeting we had to review the budget, because the last one, for the last full meeting that we had for the budget, that did have permission to enter that I noticed. And I think that's when I asked you to help me do some investigation,
Yep.
right?
Anything?
Yeah, so I think it was just a quick meeting that was posted the last agenda, because we had to go back and vote on a different line item.
Yeah. I'm in favor of getting as much information out to the public as possible.
No, you're right. You're the taxpayer. We are the taxpayers to see where the money's going. You know, it obviously makes me nervous that we're switching transportation after it took so long, and I still struggle with Anthony's bus, like even NRT, which, you know, it took a long time to get on that sweet spot with it, you know, and now switching bus driver, like bus companies, and it's a lot.
Hey, on
I mean,
when you're done, Eileen, please continue.
when I'm done what?
When you're done, I got something.
Okay. That's it. I mean, it's going to be a transition no matter what, with new drivers, knowing new routes. This company is in the new company. Next Luxury Transportation is in Danvers. And, like, perfect example, you know, Anthony's bus driver this morning forgot her card to fill up the gas tank wasn't working, so she had to go back to base, which is in Drake, and he still didn't get picked up until after 7. So, I mean, like, what's going to happen? There's always issues when a new company starts, especially with that amount of workload. So what are the kinks going to be like going forward?
Yep, I think you're right.
Okay,
John.
on Friday, Bobby Hoey went to Corey Robinson's re-election party, a campaign fundraiser. I'm going to hit play. This is 7 minutes long. We'll be back then.
I'd also like to point out some people that, when we talk about engagement, getting involved in your community, we have some people that are running the community. Potential
Yeah,
new city
I couldn't make
councilor.
it because Nancy was
Dan
sick
Freeze
that
here.
night, so Corey Robinson.
Potential.
So, Eileen, you coming tonight?
Aaron Gendron is here.
Where are we going?
Some
These
Spanish
people that are
restaurant
engaging,
and
as we ask everybody, they need the public support to make.
Probably not, but
to elect.
thank you for reminding me.
I think we all have a responsibility of doing our homework and supporting who speaks to us. What are the concerns we see as residents, and who also is identifying to those concerns, and what is their plan to address them? So please, if nothing else, I ask everybody, pay attention. It's an election year, and do your civic duty. Get out there and vote. People need that. We as residents and as neighbors, we deserve that. We need to put people in positions that are going to be informed and carry our concerns forward and address our challenges. Because without that, we're sitting idle. And we've seen that for far too long, and that's why I'm forever blessed, thankful, and grateful for the community of Centerville, as well as the city of Lowell, and everyone that's here and then some, for supporting me to be able to do just that. We also have some Lowell School Committee and Greater Lowell Tech School Committee members. Freddie Bahu's here. We also have a former Lowell School Committee member and current candidate for Lowell School Committee. Bob Bowie is here. Former state, current state rep, former mayor, and former city councilor, Rodney Elliott is here. And I have to say, as a district councilor for Centerville, our district overlaps with Rodney's district. And I want everyone to realize, Rodney has been there for Centerville repeatedly since day one, and I appreciate and thank you for that. I mean, every time I call Rodney, he picks up that phone and he goes to Boston, Beacon Hill, and he tries to do what he can to help us as a community. And we're very, very appreciative of that, so thank you. Former state rep, Dave Nagle was here. And I'd also like to acknowledge something. Lowell's a working city. We have a statue that sits on Market Street called the Worker. Look around this room. This is a blue-collar city for the most part. We have so many different labor organizations and people that are involved with organized labor, whether it's you work for the state DOT, Lowell Fire Department, we have Local 7 iron workers, we have carpenters, we have masons, you name it. These are the people that are building the housing that you hear on the news. They're building the businesses that you're frequenting. Can I get a round of applause for all the people that leave the building to get the main building to try to better life for all of us. I would like Local 429 also, laborers. Those guys turn the corner on every job site that you see any construction going on. remiss if I didn't thank all of my family members that are in the house tonight. Thank you for your continued support, your love, and appreciation. I'm blessed with that. I'd like to pass the mic first to a close friend of mine, Zozaniku. She'd like to say a few words. Thank you all for coming up.
Thank you, Corey.
And who's this lady?
Corey Robinson.
Zoe Dzenko, I
Okay.
think she's running for school committee, but I'm not sure. Want me to run her or go back to you?
Yeah, go ahead and run her.
I was so honored. First of all, actually, I want to tell you a little story. Most people may not know how I actually met Corey, and it was only about a few years ago when he was running initially for city council. We were both volunteering for the Lowell litter crew in Centerville, and his then campaign managers made sure that we connected. But not only that, I just said, oh, hi, didn't think anything of it. A couple of weeks later, I actually got a knock on my door on a really hot, sunny, day, and it was Corey pounding the pavement. And just to let you guys know, that was the first, now elected official, but that was the first person that had knocked on my door as a candidate since living on 3rd Street for 20 years. I get a lot of mail because I am a voter. I get a lot of, people maybe talking to me outside, but knocking my door, he was the first. That's set him apart right away. And I know many of you guys know Corey. And if you know Corey, you know Corey's opinionated. And
No, really. Corey, opinionated, Corey? No.
and so another reason why I definitely wanted to just be here for him, I'm going to always support this person.
30 seconds.
Is because not only is he opinionated, but Corey is who Corey is. He is the person that he says he is. And that is very rare in politics. And so when you have someone that says who he is, lives up to that, and never wavers, that's a leader. And those are the kinds of leaders that we want fighting for us.
Amen.
Okay, so if you go to a campaign party, put it on Facebook Live, send me a link, and I'll be happy to put it out there the next day. Should be about 5 minutes long. This was 7 minutes, but we had two candidates speaking at the same time. Back over to Cliff. Thanks, Cliff.
Eileen?
Oh, yes, Cliff, sorry, I had you on mute.
Yeah, can you reach out to Zoe and get her on the show one of these days?
I think she's against
Yes,
her.
yes, I will. I'm not sure when.
Okay. Is Bob Hoey running for school committee?
Yeah.
And do we think that the normal scolds, like LTC, are going to,
I can't speak for LTC. We could have asked Fru because he's on the board. But it just begs the map to come up here. I'll put the map up. I don't care what section of Lowell you live in. We need candidates to run for office. Whatever section of Lowell you live in, doesn't make any difference. We need candidates to run for school committee. We need candidates to run for city council. We get the same people every time, and they're getting a little tired. So step up, and love to have you run for office no matter what part of town you live in. We need new blood, because these folks that are in power right now, they've been in power for a long time, they get a little tired. Back to you, Cliff.
Well, and the other thing is, you need to vote. Tewksbury had an election with a 3% turnout. If I was from Tewksbury, I'd be embarrassed.
Why?
Because that's even worse than Tewksbury with an 8%
Cliff,
turnout.
if the selectmen had guts, and if the city council had guts, they'd put, we're taking trash, and we're not gonna pick it up no more. You're gonna have to get rid of your own trash. Do you want the city to pick up your trash? Yes or no? Come and let us know how you feel about it. It'll be a binding ballot. Whatever you vote, that's what we're gonna do. It won't be usually go and vote for clothespins on the clothesline. Won't be it'll be non-binding. That's bunk, we all know it. Stop it. If look what they're doing to Diana DiZoglio. It's the freaking law. And the State House just ignored it. You got no guts, City Council. Put on the ballot, we're gonna take it, we're gonna stop picking up your trash. Vote yes or no. And it's a binding question. Thoughts, Cliff?
I like the idea. I don't think it'll ever be executed, but I like
Why?
the idea.
Why? Why won't it be executed? Are they a chicken? Buck, 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 buck.
Yes.
I agree. Eileen, do you think that'll ever happen?
Wait, can you explain it to me again? I was transitioning out of Dunkin' Donuts to my car.
Important. What did you get at Dunkin's? What did you get at Dunkin'? It's my question.
Oh, what did I get? Oh, my coffee. And it took so long. I was in there for like 10 minutes. And I'm pretty sure I met Angel, who goes to Monday night dinner group.
Oh, Angel
his
Garcia?
twin. Because I was like, oh, hi, Angel. He's like, he was looking at me like I had 8 heads.
Oh.
It's like, okay. But his name actually was Angel.
It's Angel
and they look
Garcia.
exactly alike.
It wasn't Angel? Oh my God. That's cool. So you didn't get anything to eat?
No, just a coffee. I brought snacks into school because these days are getting longer and longer as we approach the end of the school year.
Okay.
Are you going to be working in the summer?
No, I'm not working this summer. I'm gonna do my campaigning stuff. Maybe look for a side hustle. I don't know. I just also think it's important. This year has been so crazy. It's really important to have some downtime because I don't do that enough for myself. I'm constantly on the go.
So Eileen, the issue is this. I don't know if you can hear me well enough. Cliff can
Okay.
repeat this if we have to. I think the city council's chicken to have people vote. If the city council put on the ballot a binding question, do you want the city to pick up your trash, yes or no? And we will definitely abide by, it'll be a binding vote. If you vote no, we're never picking up your trash again. If you vote yes, we'll continue to pick up your trash.
Wait, so you mean we could possibly have a choice? Who would pick up our trash then? I'm not a trash girl. I wouldn't deal good with going and bringing my own trash.
Eileen, my point is, everyone would vote. If you're not gonna pick up, I would vote yes, continue to pick up my trash. Yes, continue to pick up my trash. I would.
Yes. Okay, but what about, all right, just curious, what if it was a no vote? Then who would pick up everyone's trash? If everyone said, no, I don't want the city to pick up our trash, then would the city have to put their heads together again and look for another resource that maybe they could provide a cheaper contract or something to that? Is that the point of doing that?
No. You take your
Okay.
own trash on Saturday to the tip.
You haul your own trash.
How's that sound? Not
I
good?
mean, not a fan, but I'll drink the same Kool-Aid as everyone else is drinking.
Okay, for a side hustle, I think you ought to create some sort of political action committee that to work on my theme, that school teachers are ranch hands and the parents are the ranchers, and it's the job of the ranchers to get the beef to market.
So, yes, I agree. Maybe we can refine it a little, but how do you even, how do you start a political action group? Is it just like a political action campaign?
Yeah, I think you have to register and you form then you get a website and you start attracting people towards your idea.
I have a website. And I updated it, Cliff. You'd be proud.
Good. So, go ahead.
No, I guess I can look into it and see everything that I'd have to do, and then we can talk to figure out something better. And I can look up the steps. Thanks to ChatGPT, I can look up the steps and how to start one of these political action groups.
Yeah. So, our Congresswoman, Lori Trahan, on Tuesday, the 6th of May, ran a survey. Do you think Donald Trump should be allowed to run for a third term? Well, did you see the survey question? Did you vote?
I did not. I did not see the survey question. Did it go into your email?
Yes.
Maybe it's in my email somewhere.
So
I'll have to look further. But I did just see an email through the little public email that it looks like Senator Ed Kennedy got the school some extra funding.
great.
The school department, yeah. I'll send it to you. Maybe you can decipher it better for me because I can't really tell what they'll actually get. But it looks good. In the positive.
Yeah, and you got 2 million more from the city side, right?
Yes. But who is telling us on, I just feel like everybody kind of has to step up at this point because of Melanie, or was it Melanie telling us that they just found out the true cost for the little high school basement, and it's pretty substantial.
Yeah, 31 million, I think. 31 million. That's a lot of money.
It is.
So anyway, I answered Lori's, I thought about it, and while I think Donald Trump was wronged in 2020, I voted no. He should not be given a third term. But I haven't seen the results of this survey. Was this like a push poll? Was she just trying to agitate people and didn't ever intend to publish the results? You don't think she'd do that to you?
Who created the survey?
Lori
Lori
Trahan.
Boy, oh boy, she's a strange duck.
Yeah.
She just lost her
Usually-
for a survey?
Well, she put the survey out on 6 May.
Oh, okay.
Did the poll results come back, like, automatically to you?
No. See, that's what's surprising is she runs a poll and then you get no results. Hey, did we discuss the Overton window?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm kidding you, Cliff, I don't remember. What is the Overton window?
okay.
No one, if I took a microphone out on Highland Street right now, and I stopped every car and said, what's this, Overton what?
Window.
What's the Overton window? I'll bet you, out of 100 cars, no one knows the answer. But police, I know you think it's important. What's the Overton window? Please.
Wait. You want to bet? $10?
Please tell us what the Overton window is, Cliff.
Oh, you didn't want to bet. All right. The Overton window, which I had assumed was named after the undertaker in Janesville, Wisconsin, Ted Overton, but apparently it's named after some academic. It's the idea that there is a range of discussion on political issues, that some things are in the window that we're willing to discuss. Other things just nobody discusses. And the example was Donald Trump and birthright citizenship. Nobody was discussing birthright citizenship. It was outside the window. And then Donald Trump put it inside the window. And I think it's an interesting way of thinking about issues.
Now, are these triple pane windows? Are these new windows or the original windows? Or two comments from the audience. Dr. Joe Biden certainly didn't want to give up the power. She was going to do anything she could to drag him to the finish line. I think most spouses would. Most spouses are 1,000% supportive of their spouse. Text number 2, 11 days left until the party time for the teachers. Are you ready for the summer? That's a question for Eileen.
I'm ready for the summer. I need some time to recollect myself and figure out what next year is going to look like in terms of Anthony and myself. And yeah, I think this year has definitely posed lots of some great things and some very challenging things, and highlighted how much really we need rest sometimes. So yes, I am looking forward to vacation.
Yeah,
How about you, Cliff? You got any summer plans?
help and rehabilitation.
Okay.
Health and rehabilitation. I like it.
Because City Life's going on vacation for 2 weeks. The last week in June, the first week in July, I forget what it is, but we're going down the beach, so I'm looking forward to it. So there'll be no live show. You're going to see a bunch of repeats. So we're going to try to have some fabulous guests on the first 2 weeks in June, because I'll be gone the second 2 weeks in June.
Okay. So I'm a little upset with the judicial system. I don't think it cares about the rest of us one iota. So there was a Tesla arson suspect here in Massachusetts, Owen McIntyre, in which he threw a Molotov cocktail at a Kansas City Tesla dealership. John, do you know what a Molotov cocktail is?
Yes, it's gasoline in a glass bottle with a rag sticking out. And the rag is ignited and the glass bottle is tossed at a target.
Yes. So he's a 19-year-old suspect, and he was released from federal custody after a judge cited the individual's ADHD diagnosis and limited access to gender-affirming care.
On that avenue, great show today from Cliff. I'm glad to see he got over his sadism from earlier. That was from the first hour. Cliff was into sadism. Also, I'm glad to hear the missus is doing better. That's from Bart.
Thank you, Bart.
Back over to you, Cliff.
So ADHD, Eileen, should people be released from prison just because they have ADHD?
No, because most of the population has that. And the thing with ADHD is you have to learn strategies over time of how to deal with it. And I mean, maybe this person has learned strategies over time, but I mean, also doesn't just go away, and they could become impulsive and do something like they did in that situation, which is destructive and horrifying and just so sad. And I mean, people live every day with ADHD and don't make those choices.
Yeah. So
I think that's the dangerousness of overdiagnosing. Because when we were kids, nothing got diagnosed. It was just live with it, figure it out, and we did. We figured it out, or we didn't, right?
yep.
But
Go ahead.
there was no just because you have this, you get. I mean, so many people are diagnosed with ADHD, anxiety. You know what I mean? It doesn't give you a right to take somebody's life.
24% of the upcoming population is diagnosed with that.
Yeah, I believe that. I'm surprised it's that low, actually.
It makes it almost seem like it's normal.
Hey, Cliff,
I
Yes,
mean,
John.
they should remain in jail. Did you know that in war, if Russia blows up your house, you still owe your mortgage
I would assume so.
and there's no insurance coverage?
Absolutely not. Act of war. That's the exception. So,
we want to keep the war away from us.
and then, besides this guy, there's this Eric Rodriguez who shot that couple outside an Israeli event in D.C. I mean, he's a guy that he shot the woman and she's trying to crawl away and he walks over and shoots her a couple more times to make sure she's dead. But the Democratic Socialist Liberation Caucus issued a statement saying we should free Elias Rodriguez and all political prisoners. I mean, how is Elias Rodriguez a political prisoner? He shot two people. Okay, so they worked at the Israeli embassy.
Jay has a comment about that, and he says, that's what you get when you have judges in this country that think they are above the law. Jay.
yeah, and they've been allowed that latitude to believe that they are and act as if they are.
I mean, it's like that guy Luigi Mangione.
Mangione. That's the one that keeps coming to my mind. He had back pain and was maybe facing a fusion. Like I have suffered from back stuff since I was very young, and like I've had surgery after surgery. None of it's pleasant. It all hurts. It's all painful, but you recover and you live your life again. And it's like nobody wants any inconvenience in life. And sometimes there's inconvenience in life, and we all have to figure it out. Nobody wants to figure anything out again. And what I notice with this upcoming generation and probably Luigi's generation, nobody wants to feel uncomfortable in any way. Everyone wants to feel butterflies and flowers and rose bushes and petals and...
Comment from the audience, I'm pretty sure the people in California have the same problem after the wildfires with respect to their mortgages. Very true. You still got your mortgage.
Oh, yeah.
If you didn't have fire
Yeah, that
insurance,
was-
you still got that mortgage.
So, apparently Luigi Mangione has attracted a lot of female supporters. So someone asked, do women love killers? Is that a real thing?
Well, I think part of his whole thing with the back was saying, like, it impacted his libido or his sex life or whatever. So everyone just felt bad for him about that. And that's where he got the girl attention. Like, oh, no, that must be so awful, Luigi. Like, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Was he named after the Mario Brothers, the Luigi guy? Anybody know?
No.
Say that again?
Was Luigi named after one of the Mario brothers?
Okay, I don't think so.
Comment from the audience. How about the attack on Boulder, Colorado yesterday? Barbaric behavior by a third world people. That's where the guy had a spray bottle of gasoline and he let people on fire yesterday. I thought it was 6 people. I'm glad it's only 3.
It was at a Israeli support rally. And, yeah, he sprayed him and then he lit him off with Molotov cocktails. Sprayed him with gas.
They think that he should go to jail for a long time.
I would think so. So they,
You know what I think the impact of these video games on kids and the Mortal Kombat and all the things that they watch, they don't put value on human life. And they just think it's a video game. And it's horrifying to think that.
Well, I think the kids know it's a game because when we used to play cards with the king and the jack, that represented real people in its day. Another great show on the Merrimack Valley's best morning show. Well, thank you very much for the pat on the back. Appreciate
that was very
Thank you.
nice. So, since you guys are the Monday night dinner group, which once upon a time I was part of, the question, are restaurants dying?
Question what?
Are restaurants dying? Apparently in some places, restaurants are going out of business. Red Lobster, TGI Friday have filed
the
for
chain
bankruptcy.
ones.
Cracker Barrel, Applebee's, Outback, Denny's, Red Robin are closing restaurants due to plummeting sales. Texas Roadhouse is apparently doing okay. But
Isn't Longhorn doing okay?
the what?
Longhorn?
Didn't get mentioned, so that must be doing okay.
Cracker Barrel. I love Cracker Barrel. We don't go there much
Yeah.
because not enough people in my group love Cracker Barrel, but I love Cracker Barrel.
I like Cracker Barrel.
But I think the service that you get, and also the franchise fees that these restaurants are paying, you say to yourself, wait a second, I'm paying a franchise fee to have Uncle Buck's, Moose, whatever, restaurant, and I'm a franchise. Now, I know how to do this. Suppose I just get rid of it and call it Uncle Cliff's Restaurant, and open up in the same square footage that I have Uncle Buck Restaurant, and have the same stuff, but I don't have to pay the Uncle Buck group anymore because my own brand will be the Uncle Cliff store. That's part of it.
Well, on the other hand, you get advertising when you pay the franchise fee.
Well, once the community, like the Owl Diner, has
Yeah.
never had a TV ad. Never. The place is packed every day. If you ever come to Lowell, you got to go to the Owl Diner. There are a lot of great diners in Lowell. There are no bad. The Gormley's downtown, very tasty spot. But the Owl, it's been there since before I was born. It'll be there long after we're gone.
But some restaurants are in trouble, and the COVID lockdown, people working at home, meant that there are less people in the cities going to restaurants.
Good point, Cliff. A lot of people learned to cook for themselves during COVID. And good
Even
point.
in Massachusetts?
Oh, yeah. Look, we got a lot of great cooks out of COVID because you made your own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches because you were afraid to go outside, get down to Santoro's or the deli for a sub because you didn't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I get a kick out of that. I don't feel safe.
Do you cook, Eileen?
Yes, I try to. I love the crock pot. because I can throw chicken in there before I leave for work and it's ready when I come home. So I do those simple things. I make Anthony pasta often. I did take him to Market Basket this weekend and say, you can get anything you want here. We're not ordering out anymore because his favorite thing is, Mom, I'm hungry. Okay, eat something. What do we have? I'm like, have what we usually have. Bread, cheese, like pasta, like chicken. We always have chicken in the house. We always have, he wanted stuffed shells this week. Like, so he really has enjoyed those. And Tostinos for breakfast, like, not the healthiest things in the world, but at least you're not ordering out, too.
Comment from the audience, some restaurants make it and some don't. It's all about good food, good management that makes a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Good point.
It's sort of like downtown Boston. Apparently, there's still a lot of offices that that have been vacated because not enough people coming into the office.
Well, Cliff, I have some of the gals who work with me, my colleagues, they think nothing of working from home. They have the same phone, same computer. It's amazing what can happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And so why should you go to work on a lousy, rainy, or if you don't feel tip-top, I don't feel tip-top, I'm going to sit at home with my computer. Okay, cool. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, Eileen, we're down to about a minute. What do you got?
Free Karen Reed.
Free Karen Reed.
Speaking of which, somebody gave Martha a little rubber ducky, and I immediately turned it over to see if it had FKR on the bottom. It didn't, but that is stuck in my mind.
Free Karen Reed. So let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 more week-ups until the last day of school.
Hey, we're almost out of time here, kids, so with grocery prices so high, there isn't much left to go for that expensive Big Mac. Tomorrow City Life, we got Bob Hoey, Greg Pappas, Ned Tommy is still in the hospital, needs your prayers. If you have some prayers, say some prayers for Ned. He's coming back, and he's going in a good direction. And Tommy Bommel, that's Tomorrow City Life. Back over you, Cliff. Time is gonzo.
Well, we're moving into summer now, and that's a delightful thing. And I wish everyone a good week. And Eileen, I'll see you on Friday.
Sounds good. See you Friday.